Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters. Rent or mortgage? Which one should you guys go for? Well, I'm going to make this video, inshallah, one which you guys can benefit from. I'm going to go through the positives of some and negatives of some. So stay until the end. Let me tell you exactly my opinions on one or the other and why I would choose what I would choose. So firstly, the mortgage. Look, when it comes to the mortgage, yes, many people, they say that it's a safe option. It's your own home. Basically, you own your own home. You can do it how you want. You can fix it up. What people don't actually think about is the interest involved when it comes to having a mortgage. Many people don't actually know when you borrow £200,000 from the bank, you actually pay back close to £300,000. Sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes much more. Like it generally can be like £150,000 more on a £200,000 mortgage. Now imagine having to pay £150,000 in interest extra over 30 years. I'll let you guys do the maths. The point though being is it's not as simple as you sometimes think. It's not just as simple as when I have a mortgage, I will have my own home, I will own it. And so technically speaking, yeah, it has to be the better option. No, not always. And this is what I want to go through today. But before we carry on, do make sure to like this video, share with your family and friends. And look, it does apparently help the channel. So like on the video, leave a comment below. When it comes to a mortgage, one thing we've looked at is you do have to pay interest. What I would say is go on a mortgage calculator yourself, type it into Google, have a look yourself and see exactly how much interest is involved. And also look at the repayments that are included when it comes to a mortgage. Now, number two, you are bound, because if you take out a mortgage, you're in that mortgage for 30 years, unless you obviously pay it off, unless you sell your house. But in essence, you are in that mortgage for 30 years, 25 years or 35, whichever way you want to do it. But 25 to 30 years, you're in that mortgage, generically speaking. So if tomorrow you wanted to pack your bags and you thought, no, I'm going to do hijrah. Maybe you watched the video of Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan and you said, no, I need to make hijrah. I need to make hijrah to the Muslim country. Well, you would be in a situation where actually you're in a mortgage and therefore your home, it's difficult to sell it, to put it on the market, etc., etc. You're in a contract. You have to pay your debt. So it's definitely something to consider that you are binding yourself down to a mortgage for a long-term basis. So if you basically take out a mortgage at 25, you will be in that mortgage until you're 55 or 50, depending on how long that mortgage is. Now, people do say the mortgage though, if you have it, you own your home and over the years, your house price goes up in value. Is this true? Well, yes, to a certain extent. But I'll give you the example. If you buy a home and it's going up in value, and after 10 years you say, wow, I've made £100,000, my house is now worth this much, and you want to buy another home, and you buy the home next door or in the same area or something like that, well, that house price has also gone up. So the amount of profit you think you've made, because that's not really profit. When a house price goes up and you're going to sell that house to buy another house, well, you're not actually making profit because all the house prices go up. It's not just one house, it's not just your house. Unless you're going to fix it up and do it up and then sell it, that's different. But I'm saying, generically speaking, if your house price is going up, well, so is everyone else's. And so selling your house to buy another house, no, you're not actually making a lot of profit. But what do I think is better? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what is better at the end. But I need you to bear with me. The negatives about renting, you don't own your home. You really don't. You have to ask the landlord's permission to do many things. Like if you want to fix it up, maybe you want to do something to the house, maybe you want a new toilet. I mean, you do have to ask the landlord's permission for anything and everything. So you don't own your home. You don't actually have a place where you can say, this is my home. Maybe, of course, you still call it your home. But the way someone feels, how maybe they, when they have a mortgage and they're like, no, this is my house. Maybe you will never feel like that in essence, because you're renting. Is your money going down the drain like they say? Yes, you would say yes. You are, in essence, the money is going down the drain. But in comparison, is your money also going down the drain when it comes to a mortgage? Well, subjectively, yes. Yes, I would say it also is going down the drain. But the difference is, there you're actually holding on to something, and when you have rent, when you're putting rent towards a home, it is going down the drain and you're using it. So you're spending money to just use the product, which in essence is the house. So you're paying to use it and you're not owning it. When it comes to a mortgage, in essence, what they're saying is the banks will give you the money, you buy the house and you own it and it's yours. Can the landlord just kick you out your house though? Well, no, they can't just kick you out of the house. They can't just give you a notice and 2 weeks later you're out of a home and you're on the streets. No, that doesn't happen. The landlord does have to give you a notice, and it is something which can be agreed initially. So if you're looking to rent for the long term, you can agree with the landlord that I need a minimum of 3 months or I need a minimum of 6 months. So don't feel like it isn't as safe now because you're renting. That's not actually true, and they don't just kick you out as soon as they give you a notice. But what do I say? What do I think is better? In truth, we go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. The scholars and the people of knowledge, many of whom I have asked, have said that mortgages are haram. There is interest involved, riba involved, and therefore we cannot have a mortgage. Islamic mortgages? Well, yes, I've also asked the people of knowledge, and there are not any at the moment who would fall into the category of permissible in the UK. If you think there are, comment below, let me know. But the two that are questioned the most are Al Rayyan and Gatehouse, and both of whom have been asked by the people of knowledge and they have said they're impermissible. So which one would I use? Well, see, my brothers and sisters, we have to understand this world is a minuscule of what the akhirah is. Wallahi, like the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that live this world like a traveler, and it reminds me, by renting you are in essence living like a traveler. Not only that, but should we even be living in the West? Should we not be trying to move to our Muslim countries as much as possible? Yes, I do think we should. I think it's encouraged and we should be looking to do that and not making it out as if we're going to be here forever. So can I now say, oh, necessity? Yeah, but it's necessity, you have to have a home. Well, like, you don't have to have a home. That's odd, ajib. That doesn't even make sense. Like, of course you can rent your home. It may be more expensive. Just because something is more expensive, by the way, it does not make it halal now to do something which is haram. Does that make sense? Just because renting is more, doesn't make it now, okay, now renting is more, so I'm going to have a mortgage, because that's not necessity. But if the religion was not a part of it, and by the way it is, and there is no denying it, if the religion wasn't a part of it, what decision would I make? No doubt I would go for renting. Because even when it comes to an economical avenue, renting makes more sense than having a mortgage. This isn't something what I say. This is the millionaires and the billionaires, they say the same thing. They say the money you have that you put into a deposit for a house on mortgage, that in essence you sit on that money. Like imagine having 20, 30,000 pounds and putting it in your living room and sitting on it. In essence, that's what you're doing. All that money, you're putting it and you're sitting on it. Now, I'll ask you, my brothers and sisters, if you have a business, if you invest, whatever you do with the money and that money makes money, that's much better than you just putting it into a house and sitting on it. Because if you never plan on selling your house and just living in the house, then you'll be 60, 70 years old. Before you know it, you're about to go. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't take your life before that, and all that money you would have just sat on for all your life. Instead, that money should help you make money. And if that means you have to rent for a year or 2 years, to start a business, to invest in whatever you want to invest in, to make the money, make money for you, and that's a much better decision than just putting it into a mortgage. Oh, and by the way, it is haram. There's no denying about it. So fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't do something which isn't permissible. Like, we should stay away from it as much as possible. And more importantly, look into doing hijrah to the Muslim country. It's something which is encouraged by the people of knowledge, and it's definitely something we should look at. In fact, it's something I'm looking at. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us all. And don't just make your desires the religion, because we should differentiate between the two. Inshallah, these videos are benefiting you guys. Wallahi, as always, I appreciate your guys' support immensely. Again, like the video if you haven't already, share with your family and friends, subscribe to the channel, and jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.